What's up everyone, Sean Count Blaggerth here today with an album review, this time of the 2013 Horror Pain Gore Death Productions release of Memorious? I probably screwed that up, I know I did for a fact, I'm sorry, by Vex. This is the version put out by Iowa's Recordings. They released vinyl. It is a subdivision of Bind Room. Now, regardless of pronunciations and labels and all that, Vex is a death metal band hailing from Texas. This is an extremely good album that mixes genres of death metal, thrash, and some really very solid melodic death metal. Now, when I say melodic death metal, a lot of people get an idea in their head that's going to sound like Dark Tranquillity or In Flames, or a lot of this really run-of-the-mill overplayed melodic death metal. It's not like that. This is a very good mix where the death metal influence is very strong with it, and the melodic death metal influence is very strong, but it's still played with almost a black metal sensibility, if that makes sense. When I say that, the songwriting progressions are absolutely watertight. The way these songs flow and the album progresses from track to track, it still keeps the root of it being death metal intact, and it just builds upon itself constantly. But when it builds upon itself, it brings in a whole new layer of something completely different that really helps add to it, but at the same time, it all makes sense, and that is something that is absolutely glorious to see happening in a style that is as worn out as melodic death metal, and especially, in my opinion, death metal in general. Now, what you can expect to get from this album is a very solid blend of all these styles. When it comes down to the recording and the production of it, it's a very natural sounding recording. To me, it sounds a little hollow, but I mean that in the best way possible. It really lacks the modern production styled of just being super crisp, clear, clean, over-the-top produced. It's just very stripped down and raw, and that's something that really helps the songwriting. And when I say that, it helps the parts kind of maintain a certain atmosphere to it. Instead of it being like a run-of-the-mill death metal part, if it is a somewhat generic riff that happens, which does happen from time to time, not saying that's bad, but it does happen, that the way it's recorded kind of keeps a certain atmosphere where if it was recorded in a completely different way, that atmosphere would have been lost. And that's something I really like about it. The guitar is definitely something that's thick, but at the same time, it has this sort of hollow quality to it that really helps it. And I gotta say, I love the guitar sound on this, especially when it does the more melodic solos, so to speak, that go over some of these death metal parts. It's just beautiful the way it sounds, to be perfectly honest. It is a tone that I really wish more melodic death metal bands would use. The only thing I can really use it for a comparison with is Stone's Reach by Bellacore. That, in my opinion, has one of the best tones in all melodic death metal. So to compare that to what's happening on this is very good. Another thing that I love is the drum sound. The drums are just so big sounding. Once again, big part of the hollow factor of this production is the drum sound. It sounds like you're hearing a real kit. It's still full, but at the same time, you hear the natural tone of the drum, and that's something that makes me extremely happy to hear, because once again, it's something you don't really hear that often in death metal, and I'm very glad to hear that they have this sort of tone happening, especially in the drum department. what the drums are playing is extremely well done. It's very tasteful. My personal favorite part about the drums is how tasteful it is. It can be simplistic at points, but overall, my favorite thing about it is it never goes over the top. Yes, there's like thrash beats, there is the sort of blast beats here and there, lots of double bass, but the way that it's utilized is absolutely perfect. I would not want to hear a different sort of performance out of this band on this album. The bass, it cuts through the mix perfectly. I absolutely love how the bass sounds. To me, it's the perfect tone for this style. It's something that cuts through, but it's not muddy, and you can still make out all the notes, but it has that low factor maintained. Now, if I had to talk about the vocals, one of my favorite things about them is it's the kind of the run-of-the-mill death metal vocal style, don't get me wrong. I'm sorry about itching my nose constantly. It is a little bit of the run-of-the-mill vocal style, but the way it's utilized is it's just so powerful. It's got very unique patterns to flow with the lyrics, and that's something I like a lot, is to see good vocal patterns. And the fact that these guys actually are capable of writing these extremely solid patterns is a great sign of this vocalist's ability, not only as a just pure vocalist, but as a musician. And that's something that's awesome to hear. The other thing that I gotta say about the vocals is the clean vocals on this are absolutely fantastic, and I would love to hear more clean vocals in the future. It's something that really reminds me of David Gold from Woods Ypres, and if you know me, I absolutely love Woods Ypres. David Gold had an absolutely amazing voice, so for me to say that sounds like David Gold is, for me, to the band, a compliment. I absolutely love the way it sounds. It works so well with the super melodic elements, and to me, I feel like the album could have been made better if they kept using them, although I can see where it would start to lose its sort of edge if they kept doing clean vocals. But regardless, this really shows that this band is on the right track to creating a near perfect album. For a score on this, I'm going to give this a very solid 8.5 out of 10. Only downside to it is, for me, is I wish there was more clean vocals, and I really wish they would have made it almost just a little bit more melodic, to be honest. Some of the songs do blend in at times, but overall it's very solid, and it's something I can't recommend enough, especially if you want to get some really good death metal. You can pick up a CD of this through Horror, Pain, Gore, Death, I'm pretty sure, but I would highly recommend the vinyl of this. This is an absolutely incredible pressing. Double LP mastered at 45 RPM. Sounds absolutely incredible. This is the way to listen to the album, in my opinion, especially with the production. It fits so much better for vinyl. Link will be in the description to where you can listen to this album, where you can purchase this album, and all the information that I usually throw in the description for these type of reviews. So 8.5 out of 10, guys. Support Vex, support Iwas, support Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. And that's it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And as always, keep it metal.